Welcome back to the Live Zone Prime Time. It is 9:41 on this Thursday night, and like I said as we went to break, Tony P, it is time to lay down the law because joining us now live are the hosts of Legally Speaking. Please welcome Jay Carter and the one and only Marissa George back on this Thursday night. Thank you guys so much for joining us once again. For anyone who wasn't watching last week, talk to us a little bit about what Legally Speaking is and what we're doing here tonight.
So Legally Speaking is a joint segment that Marissa and I came up together with. She recently graduated from law school. I've been practicing for about 10 years. And so celebrities and high-profile individuals just cannot stay out of trouble. I'm sure you've noticed that the news for the last, year and a half, really probably the last 2 years, it's just like every week someone is being sued for something. And so we said, you know what? Why don't we break it down for the masses? And we'll do it legally speaking. We'll break it down so that everyone can understand. And so we not just celebrity and entertainment, but anything high profile, if it's like arrest or anything tied to the law. And you can catch us outside of this on YouTube now, Legally Speaking Show. That's the handle on YouTube.
Okay. And Perfect. So tonight what's going to happen is we're going to present some cases. You guys are going to take each side of it, argue in favor of it, and then maybe Tony P tonight will be our jury.
Oh, that'd be jury. I always wanted to be in a jury.
So last week, in case you missed it, last week we talked about some stars, both of sports and reality nature, that had some local ties. Tonight, though, we're talking about some Hollywood heavy hitters. And we're going to start off with Tyler Perry. Hello.
You go ahead and take it.
Yeah, so just quickly the facts of Tyler Perry. I know you may be a little confused. He was sued not too long ago by Derek Dixon, but this lawsuit is by Mario Rodriguez. They're pretty much suing for similar things: sexual battery, emotional distress, unwanted sexual advancements. I think Derek Dixon had more of a workplace environment harassment claim. But Mario Rodriguez is suing for $77 million. And this is a follow-up to the $270 million that Derek is suing Tyler for. Of course, they're bringing in Lionsgate because you also want to bring in the big bucks outside of Tyler in terms of collecting your damages if you win. And so I guess it's time for me to make the case. Okay, so I am going to make the case. In this case, this is civil, this is not criminal. So the plaintiff is going to say that, well, first of all, they have the same attorney. Derek Dixon and Mario have the same attorney. And the attorney is going to say all of the incidents are the same. When you go to Tyler Perry's home and you're sitting back and you're relaxing, you're watching movies and just relaxing, this is where the advances start. So both fact patterns say that the incidences, for the most part, happened in his home, where they were just hanging out with Tyler Perry. And so Tyler Perry is in more of the supervisory role. They're, they're underneath them in terms of employer-employee, that dichotomy. And so anytime you have that, that's that power struggle, and that's where like the workplace harassment and things come in. But these things actually happen in the home. So the plaintiff's lawyer is going to say, listen, we don't have one incident. We have two incidents of two people that have, no reason to lie, to say that they have the same story of those same advancements and battery. He said that he pulled down his pants and did all some other things. So it's very similar to Derek's story, and so the plaintiff is going to lead with there is a pattern of behavior here.
And then the defense will likely argue that this is a money grab. $77 million for the second lawsuit, $260 million for the first lawsuit. It's a money grab. Tyler Perry is a very successful man in Hollywood. He's $1 billion. Why not go after him when you are desperate and don't have any money? So recently, TMZ did reveal some text messages between Tyler Perry and Mario Rodriguez, and those text messages reveal that they've been talking as late as August of 2024, even though the claim does say Tyler Perry and Mario Rodriguez have not been speaking since 2019 after one of the alleged incidences. But that is a contradiction because we have now proof that they were talking, that Mario Rodriguez told Tyler Perry that he loves him and he's so grateful and appreciative for him. I see this as a money grab. Mario Rodriguez is down bad right now financially and health-wise. He's looking for money.
All right,
so what do you guys think?
Good. Any questions for the counselor?
So in terms of these text messages, so like it just shows that they've had back and forth.
But it also
Yes.
shows that he's not afraid of Tyler Perry. He's still
Right.
asking
Okay,
money
right,
for
right.
like medical
Yes.
expenses
So
and
there's
things
still
like that.
there's still a warm,
Yeah.
a warm exchange.
Oh, it's
Okay.
very, very warm.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I just want to know that the tonality of it, just so to give the context.
He's explaining his financial issues. He's explaining his health woes, and Tyler Perry is being very, like, kind about
yeah,
that.
and like being
This
comforting.
is recent.
Yes.
This is about 6
mean,
or 7 months ago.
Preponderance of the evidence is in civil court. Am I correct?
Yes.
So that's only 50% plus 1. I would say I'm gonna side with Tyler Perry on this one. I'm going
Okay.
to acquit him.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I were on the jury, because I think those text messages do show an interesting pattern.
Yes, especially because he claims they haven't been talking since 2019, and then these texts show
Right.
that he's reached out to Tyler Perry.
Exactly. So is there, is this a pattern as well?
Exactly.
Okay, so let me ask a quick question that it won't necessarily affect the outcome of the case,
Yeah.
but if they've established this relationship existed, then all of a sudden it becomes a cash grab type of a thing. Does Tyler Perry release any text messages to prove that there was a relationship ahead of time, or is that necessarily not the image that he wants to portray, even if it proves his innocence?
I think even if he releases text messages showing that they had some type of relationship, he still was an employer to these
Right.
two people who are claiming these claims.
So he wants to be careful.
he
He
has
wants
to
to
be
make sure
careful
those
about
text
that.
messages don't seem like sexual
Coercive.
harassment or coercive of
Yeah.
any way. So he's probably going to be really careful about if this makes it to trial.
Yes.
He'll probably be really careful about which texts. But he definitely released those texts on purpose to show like, hey, you just asked me for money for 6
Yes.
months ago.
You're
Right,
saying
and
you
now
love
you're-
me,
yeah, the
you
whole-
appreciate
Yeah,
me.
how much emotional distress are
Right,
you
the
in?
timeline is what,
Yes.
is what,
Oh,
is what
yes.
they're
Yes.
relying on
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Is there other potential evidence that could come out on the fact of both plaintiffs? I mean,
Mario and Derek.
Mario, yes, both plaintiffs that could sway the case in their direction, or is this kind of the end all of the case?
Well, there could be some additional text, like we said, that
Yes.
Tyler doesn't
Bring
want
the
us to see to show that. Let's just say, he just, did a Hail Mary and say, let me just ask for some money at the last minute. If there are any other texts to show that it was inappropriate employer-employee situation, that, like, even quid pro quo, that's under the sexual harassment. If you felt like you had to go to his house and watch movies and drink
Got
up with
it.
them, then they could probably,
Right.
maybe not win under all of their claims, but they'll probably be able to win under that.
Right, because it launches that interaction,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
employer-employee relationship.
Exactly.
Good to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
You can weigh in too. Just a reminder,
Yes.
scan that
Yeah,
QR
tell us.
code.
You two comments. Give
That's
us
right.
your
We
legal
need
insights.
we need a jury of our peers here.
Yes.
All right, let's go from one
Only one
Hollywood
peer.
heavy hitter to another. Tyler Perry to Will Smith.
Yes. Okay, so Will Smith has been, oh my goodness, excuse me. Will Smith is being sued by his tour violinist, Brian King Joseph, for wrongful termination, sexual harassment, and retaliation. And not only is Will Smith being sued, but also his what is it called? The Trey Ball Studios management. So his company is also being sued as well. So the facts are they were on tour and they were all staying in a hotel that was booked by Will Smith's company. And when the violinist went into his room one day, he discovered that someone had entered his room unlawfully, unauthorized, and left a note behind that implied some future sexual violence, as well as leaving things like baby oil, wipes, HIV medications, just random objects in this hotel that put the violinist in fear. And so he made a report to the police officer, he made a report to the hotel, as well as the management team, and he was shortly fired afterwards. So I'm going to make the case. Now this is, the violinist engaged in a protected activity, which was making the complaint. So once you make a complaint against your employer, there's steps that have to be taken. The management company should have conducted an investigation and looked into whether this was real, allegedly real or not, and they didn't. Instead, he made the complaint, they fired him, they actually shamed him, told him he was a liar, and fired him because of this.
Wow.
So this is the wrongful termination claim at the minimum is, I think, pretty strong. It also retaliation as well for making the complaint, pretty strong. It's a low bar to prove. And then the harassment claim comes from Will Smith allegedly grooming and priming Rodriguez, or excuse me, wrong person. Getting my cases messed up. Grooming and priming the violinist, Mr. Joseph, by having a close relationship with him, telling him things like, I never felt this close with other people like that. So he feels like he was grooming and priming him for further sexual exploitation. Yeah.
So I'm going to make the case for Will Smith. So Will Smith is going to say, listen, I mentor all the young employees, like the talent that come on these tours with me. Any, text messages or any communications that you'll be able to probably even show will not show anything inappropriate, and anything alleged that was said orally between the two, it's he said, she said. We can't really prove that he said anything that would fall under grooming. So I do think the sexual harassment part may be kind of weak in this case. And then in terms of defending the wrongful termination, Will Smith and his company, because they're all being sued, could say, listen, he was fired for different reasons. He was fired, they can pull up a file and say, well, these are the reasons why we had him let him go. It had nothing to do with him complaining about something allegedly happening in a hotel. So they're really going to have to really stand on the evidence, if again it exists, to show that he was not fired for that reason.
So before our jury weighs in, I do just want to establish that you guys aren't affiliated with any of these cases. This is just purely from a speculative, and obviously all allegedly as well. My question before we turn it over to the jury is, when it comes to this workplace harassment case, the first thing that came to mind was the lawsuit against Lizzo, who also
very
had...
similar.
Okay, so it is
very
similar. Okay,
yes,
that
they
was my
felt
question.
like by them she was taking them to the strip clubs, it made them feel uncomfortable.
Right,
It was and she may have been thinking like, hey, I'm just having a good time with my employees, but you have
Right,
to really
the
be
boundary.
careful with that line, because it can definitely turn into that. Also, none of this is legal advice. In addition to this, we are lawyers, but we're not your lawyer. So just want to add that disclaimer.
Is there any particular protocol that a company like Will Smith's has to follow when a complaint is lodged like that, whether it be in the hotel, there's a documented case? Is there any evidence that they did breach a protocol when not following up on the situation and those allegations?
So that has not been revealed yet. We
Okay.
do not know whether Will Smith's company actually did an investigation following the accusations. I know that the report was made to the police and to the hotel staff, who did follow through, but as far as the management team, it seems like maybe they asked some questions around, because when he was terminated, he allegedly was told by the person who terminated him that, we've heard from other people around here that you've been lying and that this is not true, you made all this up. So they do have that duty to then they need to investigate after the protected activity,
Right.
and then they can take the next steps.
Okay.
All right,
I'm
juror number one.
I'm going to have a mixed verdict here.
Okay,
So-
next, we could do each claim. So we
Great.
could
On the
do
first claim,
section-
with the process and the protected activity
Yes.
and the
Wrongful
wrongful termination. Thank
Okay.
you. I'm going to find Will Smith and his company guilty on that one.
Okay.
That's pretty clear.
I think it's a
cut
pretty
in my
strong
mind.
case.
Okay.
I think it's the sexual harassment or creating that work environment. There just isn't enough evidence to get to that preponderance of the evidence yet. I'm going to say not guilty on that, or a mistrial, or like a hung jury, something of that nature.
Okay. I think that's fair. I think me and Marissa can live with that.
Yeah, we can live with that.
So let me ask you
Trying to
guys.
like be precise here, you know.
Let me ask you guys a quick question. So what is the current status of each of these cases, the Tyler Perry one and the Will Smith one? Are these still just accusations that haven't made their way through the legal system yet? Where do these cases
formal
stand?
complaints.
They're formal complaints.
Formal complaints.
They've gone through the courts. I know that the Derek Dixon lawsuit has been moved from LA to Georgia. I believe the Mara Rodriguez lawsuit against Tyler Perry remains in LA. Most likely might be moved to Georgia. And then as far as the Will Smith, I believe that is also in LA and is in the court system as well.
And so both Will Smith and Tyler Perry have to officially respond now. So you have the complaint, and then you have the response.
Will the move from LA to Georgia potentially impact any type of illegal discovery or evidence thresholds in the Tyler Perry case?
It could change, it's a different law in Georgia versus the law in California, so it could change some things along those aspects, but that's yet to be seen.
And California tends to be very like obviously pro celebrity, like they give you the benefit
Oh,
of the
wow.
doubt.
Interesting.
So for it to go to Atlanta, I mean, I feel like Atlanta is kind of the new Hollywood,
Yeah.
but traditionally, a lot of times, if you're on the defense, you want to be in California.
Got it.
'cause They tend to be pro.
to know.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, that does it for Legally Speaking
Yes.
with Jay Carter and Marissa George for this
you.
Thursday night. If people want more, tell them where they can go one more time.
So youtube.com
Yes.
/@legallyspeaking_show.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I
You
love
can find
it.
us on our Instagrams as well.
Yes.
We have the
Yes.
link
Just
in
a
our
reminder,
bio.
they'll be back next Thursday night with
Yes.
all new cases, and
Can't
you guys
wait.
can be our jury. All you got to do is scan
Yes.
that QR code.
I found I was on a jury. I always wanted to be on one. I
Marissa.
like jury duty.
Thank you guys
Send me a
so
summons.
much.